guys, it's Meridy here, and I am with another page kit for January 2022, and this page kit is called Just Us. And first I'm going to go over what comes in your page kit. So the first thing that's going to be in your page kit is a full color sheet of instructions that's double-sided, and you can refer back and forth from those instructions and this video to get all the dimensions of paper cuts and everything you need are written in those instructions, but I'm not showing them here because that's part of what you're paying for when you buy the page kit. So the rest of the things that you're going to get is a vintage Drops Nouveau in the color of Earl Grey, and these are really awesome, and you'll be able to reuse them on lots and lots of layouts. And you're going to get a piece of this gray trim. It's 1 yard long. And you're going to get a P13 sticker sheet called We Are Family with little circular stickers, and a P13 yellow alphabet sticker sheet. And then you're going to have this acrylic Just Us that I designed, and you're going to want to save your packaging because we're going to use this. As you could tell, it coordinates really well with the layout. It's the new color of our packaging that we just ordered. So you're going to want to save that. Don't throw that away. And then you're going to also get the following papers. This one is called We Are Family number 7 by P13. And this label paper is called Around the Table number 2 by P13. And this is what the back looks like. And then you're going to get this Simple Stories Birch paper. And then you're going to get a few sheets of cardstock here. You've got, forgive me, I do not remember the names of the colors of these, but it's like a seafoam green color American Crafts cardstock, and a light buttery yellow American Crafts cardstock, and 2 sheets of plain white cardstock. So these are the supplies that you're going to get in your page kit and the instructions. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is cut these all down to the dimensions that are outlined on your instructions. So I'm going to turn off the video camera and go cut everything down, and I'll see you back here in a few. Okay, I'm back, and I've got all my papers cut, except one of these 12 by 12 sheets of cardstock. You'll need to cut off about 1/2 inch from 2 sides because we're going to mat it on yellow, and it needs to be a little smaller than 12 by 12 in order to do that. So we'll pull out this yellow mat that we cut, and we're just going to adhere this right to the yellow mat so the yellow is sticking out of the edges a little. So I'll do that real quick. And we're going to be working on the left hand side of the layout first. So this is the left hand side. So we'll get this going. Okay, and then you're just going to need, there's not a ton of different elements on here. Okay, again, this paper, it was easier when I did the cutting guides to not worry about this little tiny bit, but you're going to want it to sit right on top, so you're going to need to cut off about 1/2 inch at the end. I hope that makes sense. So you could leave it like this and overlap the yellow and not see the yellow. But if you want to see the yellow, you're just going to need to trim off about 1/2 inch at the side of this one sheet. I'll just move that. And actually, we can adhere this down because it's butting up to the very bottom, so there's not any movement. Like, we're not going to be adjusting this at all because it's just going to the bottom. So we'll just do that. And then you've got this little thin pink strip, the pink gingham. And again, you're going to want to trim off like 1/2 inch. Just going to use scissors. And we can adhere that because it's just going to stay at the top. We're not going to be adjusting and moving that. So this is how you can start this layout. And again, for my video, I do not use real pictures. I'm going to use a 4x6 sheet of paper. to represent my photo. So there's my photo. And I did not know exactly what size photo you would be using. So I did not tell you to cut a photo mat from this, but you are going to cut a photo mat from this. And it doesn't really matter. There are so many labels on the back. You can cut it from wherever you want. So I'm just going to mat this on the corner right here. And there's still plenty of labels on this back sheet to fussy cut out and use on this layout or on another layout, because you're gonna have a lot of them left over even after you make this. So we've matted our picture on this pink gingham. And the next thing that we're going to do is grab this yellow piece and the bigger, there's two, oh, these are both the same size, these green ones, so it doesn't matter which one. And you're gonna double mat kind of like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape this down too, because like I said, there's not a lot depending, like we're not gonna be moving this around very much. This is all gonna be like a solid little block. Okay. And pretty much the rest of this page is a lot of fussy cutting and cutting a couple of labels. We're going to use, let me get here. On mine, I cut out this house and this little sprig that's facing, curving to the right, and this one that's curving to the right. And I cut out this little banner and this little banner and this little house. And then the frames, I cut this frame and the blue frame and this pink frame for this layout. And then I cut this plant on the stand and the two hanging plants, this hanging plant and this hanging plant, and a yellow chair, this yellow chair that's facing right. So those are the items that I fussy cut from this sheet, which I'm going to go do right now, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got all those little pieces cut, and another piece that I'm going to need to cut is the just us packaging, the back. You're going to need these three. So I'm just going to go ahead and start trimming out those three right now. And then for this side of the layout, you're going to need, I think it's just one. Yeah, I believe it's just one. I'm gonna use this pink one right here, and I just need that one. So I'll cut these out and I'll cut that out, and then I will be right back. Alrighty, now that we've got all the pieces cut, I'm just gonna start loosely laying out everything the way I like it, and making sure. These tags I'm gonna cut apart so I can use half on another page, the other side of the page. Same with this yellow one, just cutting a sliver off the side. And then I'm gonna slip, this is the packaging label that came off the packaging. Okay, this one will be used on the other side too. This is another packaging label. Oh, this, I think I cut the wrong one out. I meant to cut out this pink frame. Let's do that real quick. This pink one instead of that green one. We do use the green one though on the other side of this layout. There we go. And just gonna stick this right in here. So this is all just approximately how things lay out. Because I kind of do want to lay this out before I started hearing it. And then once we get all of this laid out, we can start adhering down. And what I did was start with this back. You know what? I probably might even want to adhere my whole little picture block first, because that was a good spot to have it. There we go. Okay. And then we can start just tucking little bits. Well, not that far. Tucking little bits under until we get everything down. And then I ran this little label through my typewriter. I did some journaling on it. So if you wanted to journal on there with a typewriter, you would do that obviously before adhering that down. And then these little guys. And then I did pop some of these things up on a little bit of dimension before I adhered them. These two sprigs I did not. So these go flat to the page. And this little plant sticking out there goes also flat to the page. And the little house here goes right on the page. And this pink label also flat down. It has to go up a little bit. Okay, and then this little house here, this little label there. And then I popped this chair up on dimension. And so this chair is also up on dimension. So it's just like that. And then I grabbed the label stickers and I picked my favorite ones and I just tucked them under. And I did pop some of them up on dimension as well, just to add a little interest and layering on here. I put two there. Okay, and then this little guy goes on this side. And then the Just Us adheres right here, overlapping the picture, however you have it. It depends really what's in your picture and where the focus of your photograph is. You might need to adjust this because it might not be able to cover your picture in the same exact place that it covers mine. But you can get the idea here. And I just use glossy accents to adhere my Just Us. And then the little dot. Okay. And then we've got some gray trim in this kit. And I just cut two little chunks, one for right here and one for right there. And I adhere it down with Eileen's tacky glue. That makes it stick well and pretty quick. So I just cut two little pieces for those areas and use the tacky glue to adhere it. And I just put a thin line. If you put too much, it starts, the paper will start warping. So I just use a thin line of the tacky glue. Just get a little dot here because that piece wants to keep folding forwards. And a thin little line right here. and then I had a subtitle on my layout. On my other layout, I subtitled right here, "So Much Love." So you can make a little subtitle of anything you want there, though, using the yellow alphabet stickers. So I'll show you. You could put the date or a location, but you've got little alphabet stickers. So I'm gonna write "So Much Love" here like I did on my original layout. So much love. Okay. I'm gonna adhere those down a little because they're popping up. Okay. So I just used a little thin marker to draw this, like it makes it look like it's hanging right here. So they're not just floating there. And then the very last thing that you're going to add is these Nuvo drops in their Earl Grey, and they're matte. They're vintage Nuvo drops. And I just put 3 over here and 3 up here. And I tried to make them bigger, smaller, smallest. Oh my. Okay. Well, that's not good. Spilled it a little. Okay, and then I put 3 over here, bigger, smaller, smallest. And that about wraps up this side of the layout. So I'll be right back to show you how to do the right-hand side of the layout. Let's work on the other half of the layout for this. And what you're going to start with is the 12 by 12 piece of white cardstock. And you're going to grab these other pieces. Let's see what I've got here. And pretty much you can start adhering them down right away because those aren't really going anywhere else. Yeah, we're not placing them. They're just butting straight up to the bottoms and the side. So they're not going to be moving anywhere. So we can adhere those down. And you can see here that there's a little white showing because the 2 papers aren't the exact same 12 inches. So at the end of the layout, I'll trim those off. And then you're going to use 3 4x6 pictures on this one, or you could use 2 6x4 pictures. You would just make this a little larger. So as you know, my pictures, I am not using pictures, but instead I'm using these papers that are going to represent my photos. And I'm just going to get this kind of laid out. I'm going to adhere this top strip of pink right at the end of the wood. That's there. And then I'm leaving enough space here so that I can put this trim sticking out there, because if I put the trim right on the gray, it's harder to see. So I want to leave enough space that I can still see some of this pink paper and the trim. So I'm just going to put it like that. And then this last piece of pink, I'm gonna wedge underneath here, like under these pictures a little. So those are going, or that's gonna be just like that. Okay. Now the next thing that I'm going to grab, let's see, eventually we're going to use these stickers and these stickers. And we're gonna use some of these labels, or some of these cut aparts. But I need this. These papers next. Okay. So you've got two yellow little pieces, and I just set them kind of off center, and then I stuck the green under them. So I like the way that looks, and I'm going to adhere those down. I like to test everything and get it in place once before I immediately adhere it down, just in case it doesn't look great. But that looked pretty good. Okay, now we've got a few things left over that we cut out from the first page, and I accidentally cut this green frame out. And that's gonna go there. This label I'm gonna slice in half, maybe like in thirds. The bottom third, and then 2/3 at the top. So 2/3 of the thickness, and this is only like just a little bit of the thickness, like a third of it. And that was some of the wrapping, the packaging of the Not Just for Boys Kit Club, the thing that said just us from the other half of the layout. Okay, so we've got all these little layers going on here. And then I am gonna fussy cut a couple of things for this side. I'm gonna fussy cut these last two little leaf swatches. And since we're in the TV room, I'm fussy cutting the TV and this house and the couch and the chair. Oh, and this little banner and this banner. So I'm gonna go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got all of these little pieces cut, and oh, I also cut out this little potted plant there. So let's see, I'll get them kind of placed how I want them. Kind of making, oops, a little seam here. And then when I get those placed how I want them, I will start adhering them down. This one I'm actually going to cut the little tail end off of and use it up here. And I'll start with the back layer, adhering down. And then I'll move up. And there's so many different images on this cut apart that you could do all kinds of different things instead of the pieces that I cut apart, like the couch and whatnot. You can do all kinds of different things depending on what your pictures are of. So like you could do a picture about home decor in your house, or a layout about home decor in your house, or if you have a hobby of macrame, there was some macrame pieces on this cut apart, you could document your hobby. Yeah, there's all kinds of different things. You could document family. I'm just documenting me and my son, but you could document a whole family or extended family. When I actually get to do these two pieces right here, I'm gonna pop them up on dimensional adhesive so that they're higher off the page. So it's kind of making a little scene with that little plant and the couches. Let's see, you could document just a day in the life, just staying home, what life is like. Yeah, all kinds of different things. This kit is pretty versatile. These papers are pretty versatile. And these little stickers here that say things, they have all kinds of cute sayings that can work for all sorts of different pictures that you've got. Okay. And then up here, let's see. The TV is popped up here, I believe. Yep, the TV. So, put that. You know what, I'm not gonna quite stick it down until I kind of align it with this. Because these three pieces kind of went together, making a little collage thing. And then okay, and after this, I'm gonna grab this sticker sheet right here and just pick some stickers that make sense with the pictures that I've got on this page. And I'm gonna pop this one up on, this top one up on a little adhesive. It's a little big. Let me cut that off before I stick it down. Okay, this one says, "This makes me happy." Okay, now, if you wanted to do a title on this page, you could. My title was "Hanging Out Together" on my original layout with my actual photos, but for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna write "together" right here, so it doesn't take quite so long. But you have a lot of letter stickers here. There's uppercase and lowercase at the bottom. So you could make, you know, a longer title, depending on what you have left from the first side that you had, what letters you had left. T-O-G-E. Can't spell and talk at the same time. I can't spell anyway. I'm terrible at spelling. H. Okay. So there's the little title for this side. And then we've got this trim left. We have lots of this gray trim. And I'm going to use Eileen's tacky glue to adhere it right down here and right up here. But I'm not gonna put it underneath these embellishments. That's why I put the embellishments on first. So I just put a thin line of tacky glue. Oh, I should have maybe cut this first. That's okay. tuck the end under there so it's not hanging out. I like using tacky glue because it starts holding it pretty quickly. And I don't have to sit there very long holding things down. A couple of those that are sticking up, I'll just lay flat. There we go. I'll trim the ends off in a minute. This time I'm going to measure and cut before I adhere down. That's what I should have done the first time. There we go. Oh, I'm going to trim off. Remember at the very beginning I said there was a little white space of the background paper sticking out. I'm going to trim that off before I adhere any more of this trim. There we go. Let's get this off of here. Okay. Get rid of this funky little scrap. And now I'm going to do the top side. So I'm going to trim this first. And you still have a little of this trim left over. That's why I love working with these little kits, because I can usually make another, at least one more page layout with the leftover scraps. I did have to add a little solid white cardstock for my background paper for my stash to make the additional layout, but there's so many little matching coordinating pieces and stickers left and little cut aparts and this trim. And I really like making layouts from the little scraps that are left because it's a good challenge to use up my scraps. And I don't like saving scraps because I never use them. So I would rather use them right away when I'm working with the kit and just use the kit till it's gone than try to save little scraps. Okay, so we've got that on, and the very last thing that we've got is adding Nuvo drops. And it's this Earl Grey vintage drops. These are really cool, I like these. And I tried to make small, medium, and large. And I'll add a large one right there. Add an air bubble in it, large, medium, and small. And I think that about wraps up this page. I added the date up here, but it's ready to go. I will have close-ups of both of these layouts at the end of this video, of these and the ones that I have with my actual pictures on them and actual journaling, so you can see where that goes. And I would love to see your work if you make one of these layouts and want to share it on our Not Just for Boys Kit Club community Facebook page. I would be so excited. Okay, bye guys.